Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, the show where we talk about new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons from both Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG. We cover 20 new titles from each of those sites. This is not a review show, as we have not looked at any of these products in full, so please venture into them at your own discretion. We do include alphabetical links to all of the titles shown in this video in the video description. So if you want to help the channel, please use those links to purchase these titles. You can also support by purchasing one of our books, two of which are shown on screen right now, and those are also linked in our video description. Please subscribe and share the video as well. It helps the channel and all of the creators in today's episode. This week's episode covers titles released from June 25th through July 1st, 2021. We've got subclasses, modules, OSR, Pathfinder, maps, you name it, it's all in here this week, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end. Alright, our first title from the DM's Guild is A Necromancer's Twisted Web by S.M. Sayers. It's $1.99 at 11 pages. It says this adventure sees the party assisting the village of Limevale in dealing with an undead incursion. Upon discovering that this is not the first attack, they are soon led to the cave of a drow necromancer whose soul is trapped within a human man's body. The man is using his new ally to enact revenge on the village where he grew up. All the while, the drow is waiting for the right moment to take full control. So it's a 5th edition adventure intended for 3 to 5 characters of 3rd to 5th level and is optimized for 4 characters of 4th level. And it says it can be placed in any forest, and there's a deeper backstory set in the Forgotten Realms, giving a more roleplay heavy experience. So looks interesting. I like the cover. That's pretty cool art. Let's take a look at the interior here. The full-size preview didn't work, so if you're watching SM Sayers, you might want to get that fixed. A lot of times, guys, that's fixed by, within the first few days after this video, so if you're watching this after a few days after it's released, it might be fixed already. But looks very nice, very Wizards style layout, good map in here. Got flavor text for you to read to the players if you're the DM. Even has some adventure hooks, which is always nice. You can use those even outside of the module, so looks like a fun one. And again, I love that cover art, so check it out on DM's Guild. Next we have The Haunting of Rodalen Priory by Bastian Red. It's $2.95 for 16 pages. It says, about a half day's travel from any major city, Rodalen Priory sits in stasis. The monastery doesn't get many visitors these days. Devout monks carry out their daily tasks as diligently as ever, but a somber cloud hangs overhead, chilling the once warm and inviting atmosphere. Good things, then, that the monastery is haunted. So it's a haunted monastery story, which is kind of cool. In this one-shot adventure for 3 to 6 third-level characters, players will be tasked with solving the mystery of Rodalen Priory. Is the monastery really haunted? Will they survive the night? Venture onward to find out. So kind of a fun setup, cool little atmospheric image here for the cover. Let's look inside. So you get your table of contents, and then your intro, kind of clean layout, wizard style here. And then, yeah, they've got the flavor text for all the rooms. Let's go back and read one of these. It says, you spy a small collection of buildings in the distance. As you approach, song fills in the air. Sorry, I read the wrong. Song fills the air. Bell tolls overshadow the choir somewhat, but its chime is nevertheless pleasant to the ear. You grow nearer still, observing how the walls are a melding of the past and present. There is a counterpoint between older, rain-smoothed stone and more recent masonry that is functional, but little else. As you cross the threshold into the cloister, the music fades. Cool, so it's got some auditory stuff along with the visuals. I always like that. You can even, when you get those things in your flavor text, you can even maybe choose to play some background music if you're the DM. That's always fun for your party to hear some actual sounds. So I like that, and there's probably a lot of sounds you could do with this particular adventure. So check it out on DM's Guild. Next we have No Love Lost, a 4 to 6 hour adventure for 5th to 10th level characters on the islands of Hamato by Douglas MacLean, $2.95, 39 pages. says, in the far-flung islands of 𝘼𝙗𝙗 in the Forgotten Realms, the old capital of 𝘏𝑗𝑠 is gripped by a feud between two rival temples. Bodies lay on the streets, and the sacred deer have been slain and desecrated. Little do the residents know that the two Oni brothers are pulling the strings and stoking the conflict. In this adventure, the third in the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Island series, players will help unravel the origins of the feud, uncover the Oni plot, and do battle in the streets of 𝘏𝑗𝑠 and beyond. So that's cool. If you're looking for, some Forgotten Realms 𝘏𝑗𝑠 adventures, it looks like this is a series of 3, and there's Oni involved, which is pretty cool. It says it's got a one-shot adventure optimized for 3 to 7 party members at 5 to 10 level, but you can adjust it according to what's in here. There's monster stat blocks, including 𝘏𝙗 and 𝘏𝙗 commanders, multiple possible endings, optional side quests, unique magic items native to the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Islands, including the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 talisman, and a brief DM guide to 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Islands with lore, fauna, and culture. That's nice. So you get kind of some gazetteer stuff in there, so you know more about the area in case your characters want to wander off, or somebody asks a question, or you just want to build some more campaign around this particular one shot. But it is a series, so you could actually probably do quite a lot. And it says, what are the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Islands? They are a reimagining of old Forgotten Realm kingdoms of Wa and Kozakura, which resided on the fringes of the continent of Karatur. United under one imperial banner now, peace and stability reign on the islands, and travelers from the Sword Coast are just beginning to trickle in. This is a land not well understood by the Faerunians and provides many opportunities for adventure, but players can also play characters native to the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Islands using the Traveler's Guide. So there's a Traveler's Guide related to this as well. But I thought it might be Karatur related, because that seems to be kind of the feeling of this module. But I like that it mentions Sword Coast here, so if you're doing Sword Coast stuff, you can have them sort of make their way from there as the DM to this reimagined part of Karatur. So very cool. Check it out. And let's look inside here. So yeah, you've got the introduction, people, section on language, money, all kinds of stuff. So you're going to see 5 of the 39 pages. So it says the 𝘏𝑗𝑠 Islands are nominally ruled by an emperor surrounded by a tightly knit and refined aristocracy who run the court bureaucracy. The emperor and his court all reside in 𝘏𝑗𝑠. Outside the capital, however, the real power rests with a complex network of samurai warlords, governors appointed by the capital, absentee aristocrats, powerful temples, and finally the village's own appointed head men, called Sancho. Many villagers rent their land from whichever feudal lord owns it, and pay rent in the form of a portion of the yearly harvest. So, sounds like they've got kind of the background figured out. You can see here in the table of contents there's a whole section on geography, etc., background, adventure hooks, and then leading into the chapters of the adventure. There's 5 different parts to it, and then you've got your rewards at the end, and monster stats and maps. So cool, very thorough. 39 pages looks like. So if you're looking for some Karatur stuff, this might be an option for you. Next we have Exciting Adventures number 6, and it's Exciting Tales of Adventure number 6, Six-Fingered Hand by Todd Kleinpaste. It's a pay what you want with a suggested price of 50 cents. It's 20 pages. And it says, summary, Stone Secrets skirmish stalwart swashbucklers. As the adventurers fall under the spell of a mysterious green weasel, they descend into history to find the remains of a despot left too long undisturbed. That's never good. This short adventure is designed to be able to either stand alone or dropped into any campaign as a random city adventure. Designed for level 3 to 5 and can be used at higher or lower levels. And it's 1 to 3 hours of playtime. So quite a few modules today. All the ones we've looked at so far have been pretty much modules, which is good. So if you're looking for modules, you've got a lot of options this week. This one unfortunately doesn't have interiors for us to look at, but it is 20 pages, so it's not a small product here. It's got a fun cover, and it seems like it's a series. So if you ended up picking this up for 50 cents, or whatever you decide to pay, then there's some other issues in that series, so you can get some other modules if you like what you see. So check it out. Okay, on to next one is Masked Savant, a subclass for bards, rogues, and warlocks by Craig Mackey. So it says, get the Masked Savant, a master of switching personas, and the first of 31 subclasses being released in July. So when I first saw this and added it to the queue for this week, I was really excited by this notion that Craig Mackey is going to do 31 subclasses, so basically one per day. I'm not sure he's going to release one per day, but it sounds like he's going to do at least a total of 31 for July. It's cool if he is able to do it one per day. I think that's an admirable goal and a really cool marketing strategy. It's 5 pages, 60 cents. So it could work out really well for him. I'm curious when we open this, because we're going to look inside in a second. It says a subclass for bards, rogues, and warlocks. So is it going to follow that Unearthed Arcana Strixhaven model of having subclasses that are suitable for multiple classes? Because that's a really cool experimental thing, and it'd be nice to see somebody trying that. Although it is risky, because it could change before Strixhaven goes live, because Unearthed Arcanas do sometimes change, but I applaud them for trying this, if that's what they're doing. Let's see. So you've got your history here of who's involved, and a list of their other stuff. So you can just see 3 of the 5 pages, and then down here you've got the actual start of the class, and it is one of those from that Unearthed Arcana. So it says, using the subclass in the features, any reference to your class refers to the class from which you gained the subclass. If you're a bard, the Masked Savant counts as your college. If you're a rogue, the Masked Savant is your archetype. And if you're a warlock, the Masked Savant serves as your patron. So that's cool. They've kind of incorporated all those. So let's look at one of these here. So Persona Mask. Creating a new personal mask requires 100 GP worth of crafting materials and a long rest, during which time you harmonize with the persona depicted on the mask. Persona masks are personalized to the creator, so no one else can use a persona mask you make. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I like the kind of lore of that, and the roleplay options there. Angel. You can cast Featherfall on yourself without expending a spell slot. Once you cast the spell in this way, you can't cast that spell again until you finish a short or long rest. As a bonus action, you can gain flying speed equal to your movement speed for 5 rounds. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Empowered, you can use the ability to fly 3 times per day, restoring all charges at the end of a long rest. So it sounds like there's a regular and then an empowered, and it's just listing. So that was just one persona mask. So presumably the mask would have an appearance of an angel, and then maybe you're the only one who has this, and then somebody else could have an archmage mask or an assassin mask and get that persona as a result of having that mask. So it's a really cool mechanic here to focus on the mask, and how, based on how it looks, your abilities change. So I really like the creativity in this. And I mentioned Strixhaven could change things, but they can always update this. I mean, if you guys don't know, when you're on DM's Guild, you can click account or my library and see what's been updated for your titles, because creators can update them, and then you can download the latest version. So I would always encourage you to check that periodically. You may or may not get an email saying something's been updated, so it's good to just periodically check. It could be typos fixed or mechanics that change. So yeah, Craig Mackey can go back and change it if something happens, or keep it the same. Maybe he decides it's fine the way it is, if Strixhaven does tweak things. So we'll see. All right, next we have Mushroom Mayhem, the fungi fiasco. I'm not sure how to pronounce fungi, I think is how they say fungi fiasco, I guess. Eddie Reyes is the author. 15 pages. It's an adventure designed for tier 1 groups, so that's levels 1 to 4. It's an escort mission taking Naneka, an apprentice cook from a high-class restaurant, on an overnight foraging trip in the forest. She has 2 days to collect the mushrooms and return them for cleaning and preparation. Along the way, you'll encounter bandits, dinosaurs, and a herd of sheep. A text-only draft for screen readers is included. So that's nice. I like when people have that for helping people that want to use screen readers. Unfortunately, we can't see inside, but presumably it involves fungi going on. So yeah, I wish there was a little more to see, but I do like the cover. It's fun to think about, maybe some Underdark stuff, or just a lot of fungi involved, and you can always roll that in. It seems like into any adventure, because it's an escort mission, so you could tweak it just a little and get it into some other campaign probably. So check it out. But it's an apprentice cook from a high-class restaurant, which is cool. So imagining sort of a high-class restaurant in fantasy setting is cool. And then it says he's got an overnight foraging trip. So think about it. To have a high-class restaurant, they probably have some fancy ingredients, right? So maybe they have to go foraging for those fancy ingredients, and they need escorts because getting those ingredients is dangerous or something. So could be what I just said, could be totally different than what's in here, but I'm just kind of imagining based on what they're writing here. So very cool. Next we have College of Mockery, cantrip based subclass for the bard who wields swords and quips in equally high regard. The College of Mockery brings mockery to the core of the bard experience. It's from Dark Abyss Keeper, with a pay what you want price of $1. Please pay something. It's only one page, but it says here it's for those who wish to not just defeat their enemies, but shame them for having the nerve to face you at all. So that's kind of fun. And it says the College of Mockery is part of a series of cantrip-based subclasses, one for each of the 13 classes. If you enjoy the sassy swashbuckler that is the College of Mockery, you might also enjoy the Order of Prism Wizards. So this creator has created quite a few other products down here, but it seems like they've made it a goal to have 13 focused on the the various classes having cantrips as a focus for the subclass. So I think that's a nice angle. I love it when creators come up with an angle, because there is so much material. We're looking at 40 titles a week, right? And that's not every new release. We're just selecting 40 from those that come out on these two sites. So finding an angle as a creator is great. And so we saw one somebody's doing one that's that's focused on one per day. Another one is doing one focused on cantrips. So that's pretty cool. All right, looking inside, it's got this cool little picture of the bard here. Let's read some of the abilities here. And it's this title is only one page, so you're getting to see the entirety of it here. It says when you join the College of Mockery at the 3rd level, you gain proficiency with medium armor and martial weapons, and then you get vigorous mockery. You learn the vicious mockery cantrip. It does not count towards your number of cantrips known. Instead of d4s, you roll the same size dice as your bardic inspiration die for damage when you cast vicious mockery. So very cool. It's increasing the power of your vicious mockery, and you can read the rest of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that wouldn't be fair. So check it out. Just pay what you want at $1, and again, it's cantrip themed, so could be kind of fun. Next, we have the Arkmond Intrigue. It's a 5th edition adventure by 𝘏𝙤𝙤, $1.99 for 14 pages. The ruler of Arkmond has been acting strange for several weeks now. He has gone from behaving a little unusual all the way to locking down the whole city without clear reason. A group of adventurers is tasked to investigate the situation and smuggle in no other than the ruler's son himself. The root of the problem, however, lies way in the past. This file contains the self-contained 10th level adventure, the Arkmond Intrigue, fully fleshed out with maps and several NPCs. It is easy to use and can fit into many settings with ease. So it was made by the creator as an expansion to Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, but you can put them anywhere with little to no effort. So let's look inside. And it looks like your full preview is not working, so we're using the short one. So if you're watching 𝘏𝙤𝙤, check that out. But very nicely laid out. Looks like a wizard style adventure with the flavor text and layout and kind of cool little pictures here. Nice map. So very, very fun. Check that out if you're looking for a adventure that's easy to drop in and pretty inexpensive as well. Next we have Blood Moon Rising, a 5th edition horror mystery for 3rd level characters by Joshua T. Crowther. It's pay what you want, $2.99 for 21 pages. It's already got a 5-star rating, and it's a 20-page adventure. says, someone in the remote town of Blood Creek is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Night after night, a werewolf terrorizes the town's citizens, but in the morning it hides amongst them. The adventurers must unmask the monster before the blood moon rises in 5 days, and it becomes too powerful to stop. So that's cool. Nice little twist on werewolves, and they're hiding kind of in sheep's clothing in your village, and you've got to root them out before it's too late. So I like that kind of ticking time bomb of this big blood moon that's gonna make it impossible to stop them. So always having a ticking time bomb is a good technique for creating conflict in your stories. So we got some nice art here. Wow, I like that. Let's see, it says interior art and design by Bruno Cirillo. So very cool. Yeah, look at that. Nice. You could even color that if you wanted, like a coloring page. Print that out and color it. So yeah, nice clean layout. I like this is very old school style. So I really like the template that they're using here. Got the flavor text in here for your adventure. Got a nice map of the little town. A lot you can do with those. Even after you finish your adventure, you can have other adventures in that town, especially since you've got a list of NPCs here and some hooks. So let's read one of these little flavor texts. A moderately steep climb leads up to the stone structure dominating the community. Its sturdy earthen construction distinguishes itself from the surrounding architecture composed of decaying wood. And that's a description of the mayor's hall. So it looks like they have that flavor text for almost all the rooms, which is nice. And then there's even some rumors here. So let's read one of those. Innkeeper Gunnar Johnson has recently taken to eating extremely rare meat. If questioned, Gunnar claims it takes less time to cook and allows him to focus on customers. So, could he be a werewolf? I don't know. You got to find out, get in here, figure it out. It's got a whodunit, nice layout, nice art, and some flexibility for future campaigns. Really heavy module week, which is kind of nice. It seems like if you've watched a lot of episodes of this, there seems to be a theme, like a subconscious theme running through stuff, and so this week it seems to be modules, which is fun. Next we have dual wielding, the Savage and the Striker, 2 new dual wielding subclasses for 5th edition. The Arcane Athenaeum, I think is how you say that. It's a suggested price of 0, pay what you want. So the author is cool with you paying nothing. I always suggest paying something. 3 pages. There are a lot of ideas behind improving, redesigning dual wielding for 5th edition. It's a pretty consistent discussion. And the author says, from my perspective, I just don't think it's possible to have an effective or fun dual wielding build without having a dual wielder feat. Not being able to draw 2 weapons at once without burning your action destroys what should be a damage-focused build. You must spend your entire turn getting ready to hit something. Not only that, but 2-weapon fighting compared to other feats, you get pretty small boost in damage, which falls off pretty quickly as you gain levels. So this author is addressing it sounds like a common complaint for dual wielding. And this dual wielder feat is necessary to mitigate the issues, letting you draw both of your weapons and still attack, and allowing you to wield higher damage weapons. So that's very cool, and all of it for 0 potentially free. It says the main idea with these 2 subclasses is to provide options for people who want to scratch their dual wielder itch, taking some inspiration from 3.5 edition and World of Warcraft mechanics. The Barbarian Savage subclass flavor makes it a Savage Berserker, utilizing their rage to swing faster and more often than comparable builds, and granting them features that build off that sense of rabid attacker. The Fighter Striker subclass flavor plays with the idea of a skilled duelist that expertly mixes dual wielding into their features, and as they gain levels can wield larger and more impressive weapons. It goes a bit anime near the end, letting you dual wield great swords but with a cost. So very cool. Alright, let's look inside. So you get to see all 3 pages, so you get to see the full thing before you purchase for either free or not. So you could decide whether you're going to pay more based on reading it. So you kind of have no excuse not to look at this one, I would say, unless you're not looking for any kind of subclasses for these classes. But you never know, you might need it down the road. So I would say check it out. So let's look at this Savage Rage. Starting at 3rd level, the fury of your rage transforms you into a relentless whirlwind. While raging and wielding a weapon in each hand, once per turn when you make an attack with a melee weapon, you can make one additional attack with your offhand weapon as part of the same action. Okay, so it's helping you get some additional attacks in there. Now let's look over here at the Fighter, Dual Weapon Flurry. At 3rd level, when you use your bonus action to make an attack using 2-weapon fighting, you can make 2 bonus attacks instead of just 1, attacking with each weapon once. In addition, when you lose your action surge, you gain the ability to strike at an enemy with both weapons at once. Whenever you hit a creature with a weapon attack during your action surge and are wielding 2 weapons, you can deal additional damage to the target as if you also hit them with your 2nd weapon, using the same to hit roll as the triggering attack. So that's very cool. It's giving you some extra hit options. We always like that. All right, so you've got all the abilities here that you would need to explore the dual wielding. Maybe you've avoided it because it's kind of clunky from the sounds of it. I don't tend to play melee stuff, so I may not have noticed that as an issue. So glad to hear that somebody noticed it might be an issue and came up with a solution, and potentially for free. So check it out on DM's Guild. Next we have 1d6 Murder, a whodunit one-shot to fit any campaign or as a standalone built with random tables and improv. So another kind of murder situation, or whodunit. So you could maybe tie this with the Blood Moon Rising one and have kind of a series of mysteries. Maybe turn your characters into some sort of Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie situation, and get make them investigators. A whodunit one-shot to fit any campaign or as a standalone built with random tables and improv. So kind of the same as the cover said there. Let's look inside. So you're getting to see both of the 2 pages. Oh, okay, I see. So it's not a full module. It's more of like a table that gives you that. So set the investigation at DC 10, and for every 5 above the DC, the PCs get clues. By the end of the session, the mystery is solved. If the party has 10 clues, if they did get 6 to 9, they know who did it but can't prove it. If they get 5 or less, the killer goes free. If they get more than 10 clues, roll a second Y as a cold case. So this could be something done quickly, I think. So you could use this as, okay, we need to fill some time. Maybe we're waiting for somebody to get to the table. Maybe somebody's not here. Let's run this and just kind of have a little mystery, because it's got a who died section, a where, who killed them, how, why, and reward. So we'll just look at some of these. So the where, it says the mansion, Garnet Family Manor, or Tavern, the Beating Heart. It's a couple where options, and then under reward, 10,000 gold pieces, 1 magic item each, a pardon for past or future crimes. That's interesting, a pardon for future crimes. And then under the Y, they've got the stolen ruby heart, missing royal heiress. So yeah, I mean, you could use this. Another way you could use this is to kind of randomly come up with a storyline. You could roll on this and determine who died, where, who killed them, how, why, and reward, and just kind of stitch it together, and then that's kind of your hook for your adventure, or even not really more than a hook. It would be like the backbone of your adventure, and then you'd have to flesh it out. But it can give you kind of some randomness if you're struggling to come up with an adventure. So I do like this, and it's a suggested price of $1.99 on Pay What You Want by Guillermo Garrido. So check it out. Next we have Way of the Wavebreak, a monk subclass, also by Guillermo Garrido. When the world was created and the seas and winds first met, the first wave was born. It follows the first wave and gains abilities related to the beach, waves, and surf. It's 2 pages. So here for level 3, Ebb and Flow, when you attack a creature, you can use a key point to push them away 10 feet or pull their feet from under them, knocking them prone. If you connect with an attack in the same turn after the creature has been knocked prone this way, you can add an extra martial arts dice to the damage. Okay, so extra damage roll there. Crashing Wave, nothing can withstand the power of the sea and anger. When you attack a structure, you can use 2 key points to do max damage against it for 1 turn. When attacking a creature, you can use 3 key points to have advantage on all of your attacks that turn. This ability recovers after a long rest. So taking advantage of key points here to give you some other options with the Wavebreak. So if you're looking for a monk subclass, this might be for you. Next we have Artificer Specialty, Flesh Sculptor. So this is an Artificer subclass. $1 for 5 pages by Ryan Guth. Bodies are a resource. Only the particularly foolish or blind cannot see that. A combination of blaster and battlefield controller, a Flesh Sculptor is an expert in undeath. The greatest work of the Flesh Sculptor is their Patchwork Abomination, an undead creature made from only the best materials. In the Dread Plains, few are more feared. Flesh Sculptors are mad scientists who have long since forgotten anything good or holy. The Flesh Sculptor is a horror-themed subclass for Artificer. They utilize lightning magic and Frankenstein's monster-esque companion to defend themselves and their allies. Okay, so this could be kind of Ravenloft-y if you want that. You could kind of pretend to be like a Dr. Frankenstein, and maybe you've created a monster that's a companion. So it's really interesting. I wish we could see inside, but they don't have a preview on this one. So, but you can use your imagination and kind of see what it's like. And it's only $1, so it's not that much to give it a try. But and maybe they'll add a preview or even just an image. Ryan, if you had just like an image of 1 page in here for people to just kind of check out something, or it doesn't even have to be the full page, just like maybe one ability or something, so they can get the flavor. And I think images also add a lot to your catalog listings if you can. But I like the ideas that it evokes here in the cover. So I do think that's potential. Plus, there's not a lot of Artificer subclasses, so for $1 it might be worth just taking a chance on it. All right, next we have the Gourmet, an Artificer subclass, so another Artificer subclass. And this one also reminds me of the mushroom one we looked at earlier, because they were talking about a fancy restaurant and going out foraging for those ingredients, right? So this could tie into that. Again, we see these sort of subconscious themes and what's being released in the same week. It's a pay what you want 50-cent title, 4 pages. Have you ever wanted to play a chef in the 5th edition? Well, now you can. And see, like we said in the Mushroom Mayhem or whatever it was, there was a chef that had to be led to escorted somewhere to get these ingredients. So now you can combine this. This Artificer subclass will let you cook up dishes from your magical menu to buff allies, control enemies, and feed everyone. Have I whet your appetite? If you enjoyed this product, be sure to follow them for upcoming products, and then they've listed some of their other ones they've got here. It's by Emi with a suggested price of 50 cents. Pay what you want. That's always a good option. You can, especially since you're going to be able to see the whole thing. They've got the whole book here for you to see. All right, so here it talks about the overview, and then you've got your abilities. So it looks like you get some spells and a tool proficiency. So starting at 3rd level, whenever you finish a long rest, you can magically produce a dish from your magical menu on an empty platter you touch. Pick an option from the magical menu table to determine the taste and effect of your creation. As an action, a creature can consume the dish or administer it to a willing or incapacitated creature. So that raises some roleplay options, because if the platter is glass, it could break. So maybe they have a glass platter that they have to protect. Maybe they get a steel one or something too, so they don't have to worry about that. But again, it opens up some options. So let's look at one of the dishes here. Sweet. The consumer must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or become charmed by you or whoever administered the dish for the next minute. This effect ends early if the consumer takes damage or sees one of its companions take damage. Okay. So, you can charm them with the sweets, which is pretty fun. And it's got bitter, salty, savory, sour, spicy, lots of options here. And as I said, you could tie in with that other adventure, and have it be the character that needs protecting, trying to get these ingredients to make these fun dishes, because you could definitely play with that. And then they've got more features with some art that might make you hungry, but suitable for this, of course. So yeah, it looks like they had a lot of fun putting this together. And again, not many classes for the artificer, so it's always good to have, or subclasses, so it's always good to have options for that. So check it out. Next we have Marvelous Heroes Ultimate Edition by Darren Kinney. It's already a best copper seller. It's $14.95, 85 pages. I'll read a little bit of it as we scroll through. You can see it's got very comic book inspired, but it is part of a bundle. I do want to point that out, where you can get not only this, which is normally $15, but 2 other books for $12. So I would maybe consider the bundle. You can use the link in the video description to get here, and then once you're here, come down and get the bundle if you're interested in that. And I mean, clicking any of the links in the video description and then shopping is going to help this channel, so I do encourage you to do that. Yes, it will take you to the titles, but from there, any shopping you do in that session, we will get some affiliate revenue that helps us. So yeah, please shop using those links, and check out the titles. That's the whole reason we're doing this, is we want you to check out these creators, get to know them, find some new favorites to follow, and maybe support on a regular basis. This person, I've seen Darren's work previously, and it's always been exciting to me because I am a long-term comic book geek. And it seems like what he's done is taken Marvel characters and just built various subclasses around those, which can be a lot of fun. So let's read a little bit of this. It says it's a massive collaboration between a group of comic fans to bring your favorite legends to 5th edition, lore friendly and balanced to work with all existing archetypes. You can have a full party of heroic archetypes, or simply blend into a band of adventurers with ease. From soaring through the skies to unleashing dark powers, the range of heroes and anti-heroes is astounding. With 5 full chapters of different types of heroes, you will not be disappointed. So that's cool. And you can see kind of a lot of art in here, very reminiscent of comic books, which is just always fun. If you like comic books, can't go wrong with that. So, and I'd seen some of the previous versions before I started this video series, and they looked like lots of fun. Alright, so you got your intro. So, whether by a divine gift or natural ability, you draw your power from the sun itself, granting you the power to unleash terrible blasts of fire, drastic enhancements to your strength, and even the ability to fly. So, starting at 3rd level, when you enter your rage, you tap into a solar energy that your body absorbs, unleashing it onto your foes. You gain the following abilities while raging. So this is Barbarian. You gain +1 to your AC. This increases to +2 at 14th level and +3 at 20th. Your strength score and maximum strength score gain a bonus equal to your rage damage bonus. You have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sound. You can use a bonus action on your turn to attempt to detect an invisible creature within 30 feet of you. You can detect invisible creatures with a successful wisdom perception check contested against the creature's dexterity stealth check. So kind of a cool way to make your barbarian seem to have like this power. It's Path of the Solar, and it's focused on light and energy absorption, which is nice. And then you've got the cleric speed domain, fighter Dark Knight, so kind of like a Batman inspired or something. And then so it's not just Marvel, because you've got Guardian of the Sea, which could be Aquaman or Namor going in here. And this is perfect because they're just inspired by it. It's not like they're literally copying these heroes. So it's a great point of inspiration. More and more people are becoming familiar and fans of superheroes thanks to things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this might also be a gateway to get somebody, maybe you have a friend who's just a comic book fan and has never really been willing to try D&D with you. You can maybe say, hey, did you know you could play as one of these classes and feel like you're Black Widow or Thor or whatever, right? And lots of great original art in here with some fun comic book style stuff. And you're going to see 83 of the 85 pages, so you kind of have no excuse not to at least check it out, right? it's quite a generous preview there from Darren Kinney and all the folks. There's a lot of people that worked on this. All these people here. You know, a nice layout by Val Serene here. So if you're looking for something marvelous, here's an option for you. Next we have Mungray's Tome of the Magical Arts, a collection of spells and enhancements, or enchantments, sorry, for wizards, sorcerers, and warlocks, created and discovered by Mungray the Magnificent. It's by Robbie Dittman for $1.99 for 29 pages. It's a collection of 24 spells. And it says, Mungray was my most powerful basic and AD&D character, and I retired him as a demigod in my campaign world. All right, way to go. He survived all the way to that. That's really cool. And so that's nice. This author has taken a character that he's had a long history with and worked him into this sort of NPC now that is introducing these abilities for you, which is really cool. He's returned as a leading NPC and otherworldly patron, so very nice. And he's one of the main NPCs in another product, which is down here, that you can check out. So if you like Mungray, you can check out 2 products involving him. So part of the time he spent isolated in a tower researching magic, and he created a lot of spells, primarily as extensions of existing spells. This work is a compilation of his discoveries. The spells contained herein are used by wizards and sorcerers, and he's been known to grant them to warlocks as their otherworldly patrons. So that's cool. He's spent a lot of time with this guy, and he's had time to invent stuff. It's very fun. I did some of that in my Potions Unlocked book, and it's cool to invent somebody who's like creating in-game stuff. So yeah, he gives you more of the history here. You get to see 4 of the 29 pages, and then you got a note from Mungray himself, and then here's all the alphabetical spells, and then by level. So there's even a cantrip in here, and it looks like, yes, he's got at least one spell per level, so that's nice. You know, kind of unfortunate sometimes when you look at a supplement and they pride themselves on being for spells and they don't have one for each level. It's kind of disappointing, because you go, maybe the gap that I have is really level 6 and I just don't, there's nothing here. But this particular book avoids that, has something for every single level, which is super awesome. So you know, it's even got some spells named after Mungray, Artistic Hand. So you know, again, it reminds me of Otroth and Potions Unlocked, you know, and what I did there. I love that. I love seeing people do that too, because I know how much fun it was for me to do. So Mungray sounds like a fun character. I want to read more about him. Let's see what he says here. It has long been my purpose to explore the depths of magical arts, to search for lost spells, charms, and incantations, and to seek ways to develop and expand those that are already known. Collected here are the fruits of my labor. Use them wisely. So that's cool. He's kind of introducing his work. But yeah, it's nice to see, you know, think about that. If you're a creator, what can you salvage from your past as a player, maybe, or as a DM? You know, maybe there's some stuff that you could dust off, create something with, incorporate it into either your current project or a future project. Very cool. Next we have the Raconteur's Lexicon, Expanded Edition. Enhance your narration with a wide variety of immersive words for combat, spellcasting, monsters, and more. So I haven't even looked at this yet, and I already like it, because who doesn't need help expanding their word usage? I mean, even as a creator myself, I might need, you know, some word options. I'm always on thesaurus.com looking stuff up. You know, what's a synonym for battle? What's a synonym for this? You know, because I don't want to use the same word twice in the same paragraph. It's just awkward. It's from Joel Klein for $3.95, 37 pages. And it says, in the end of the session, and you must have said, you hit with your sword, or the kobold shoots but misses at least a dozen times. Even if your delivery is top-notch, those descriptions won't do much for your players' imaginations. When you sound boring, there's a good chance that your players are bored. How true is that? So let's read a quote here. Heaving them all above her head, the barbarian swings in a wide arc, clobbering the owlbear. Now that's action your players can see, but it takes a lot of energy to narrate dramatically. Fortunately, we've done a lot of the work for you. So it's expanded with 5 previously available volumes and hundreds of new words and features. All in all, the expanded edition contains over 3,000 descriptive words and ideas in a printer-friendly format, doubling the amount from previously available best-selling volumes. Adverbs for attacks and movement, reaction words, original illustrated weapon and armor diagrams, colors, effects, verbal component generator, 125 plus words translated into 7 languages. Nice. New sections for terrains and common locations, descriptive words for hair and clothing, additional NPC role tables for race, lineage, alignment, voices, skin tones, so they're even covering lineage here. Entirely new chapter on monsters, movement, physical descriptions, sound, smells, and more. I want this book. Melee and ranged combat contains 600 plus words sorted in weapon categories, so very well organized. And so they've got some quotes, and somebody says, "I love you" for this. So yeah, not everybody is a wordsmith, right? You might have other talents like coming up with story ideas or whatever, right? Not every DM is going to be just a thesaurus of words. So this is meant to supplement what you're doing, and let's look inside at it. So nice art and really nice layout. So here's some words you can use for bludgeoning melee weapons. So and it lists, some of those, which would be club or morning star or mace, etc. So you can, with the morning star, you can bang, bash, bat, batter, beat, belt, biff, bite, blow, bludgeon, bonk, bop, etc. You get the idea. It sounds like a Batman 1966 episode with all those sounds, which is fun. And then it goes into piercing, slashing, throwing, and then some attacking adverbs: deftly, ferociously, poorly, silently. Ranged weapons. And it shows you the diagram of where everything is so that you can describe, using these words like ornamental, ornate, padded, polished, pristine, quilted. So I love this. I mean, whether you're a creator and you're just looking for a synonym while you're writing, that's what I would use this book for. Or you're a DM and you're like, I want to pre-write out some phrases that I can use because I'm tired of always saying, shoots and misses and stuff like that. So I like this, and I appreciate people focusing on words because, that's been a lot of my education and interest in life. So when people devote books to words, I really always love that. So good job, guys. Next we have the Campsite Map Pack from Hellbeard for $1, 4 pages. It's inspired by the Horde of the Dragon Queen. It's got night, day, grid, and no grid. Use these maps for any instance where your party is in a large camp. So, how common is it for a party to have to camp overnight while traveling as part of a campaign, right? And you need maps if something goes sideways in this camp, right? So here with this 4-page preview, you get to see the whole thing. So you get to see the day-night versions of this map, and you could use just part of it. You could have just this could just be where your party is, and you could have the road here and say, okay, over here is just trees, and then stuff comes in through here, and the battle's mostly going to be in this area. Or you could have it be a large camp. Maybe there's some NPCs traveling. Maybe this big tent is a chef that's being escorted somewhere. Don't know where I got that idea, but maybe a chef being escorted to get fancy restaurant ingredients could be, sleeping in here, and you guys are trying to protect him or her or whatever pronoun, and this map could work for that. Or any time you have to camp, who doesn't have to camp? So I really appreciate that this gives you both night, day, so you can have it be at night. And grid or no grid, so you can use it with those VTT tools, and it's only $1, right? And you'd be supporting a creator with that purchase. So check it out. Next we have the True Necromancer with the stunning cover art. I really like this art a lot. It says a collection of builds, subclasses, spells, and items for the creation of a true necromancer. It's from Nausicaa Enriquez, Travis Fingroff, and Kai Lander. 51 pages for $5, so lots of pages for the money there. a class option for the world's greatest role-playing game. Don't just study the secrets of life and death, command them. As a true necromancer, journey down the path of the bone, flesh, or spirit. Redirect vitality from your enemies to your allies, and eventually learn to use your magic against the living. Because after all, inside every living person, there's a skeleton waiting to get out. So that's a fun description. So these people obviously have a grasp of writing, so I can only imagine how fun the inside is. With over 40 pages of new content, new monsters, foul magic items including Soren's Lantern, and multiple quest lines to pursue eternal life, you'll want a true necromancer at your table as either a player, ally, or villain. So there's that book that came out recently called Playing Dead, which has a lot of fun stuff in it. This seems like it would be a good companion to that, because it's, dealing with death and necromancy and all these fun things. So let's take a look and see what's going on inside. Again, gorgeous art. I just really, really love that. Just say here who did that. Marcel Mercado, maybe. Yeah, as well as additional art. There's some other artists in there, but yeah, this art is great. And look at how nice and clean and laid out this is. This is really professional. They did a good job. Congratulations, guys. I think this is a pro looking product. So yeah, let's just scroll through here, look at some of the beautiful art. So here's the class table, so you can actually play as this class. So I mean, 51 pages devoted to a new class and other options. I mean, that's truly astonishing. I mean, normally with new classes you only get, maybe 20 pages if you're lucky. So they've got some detailed subclasses here. We're going to go back and look at some of the specifics, but you're getting to see 51. So you're getting to see all 51 pages, which is very generous, especially with, I'm sure they spent quite a bit of money making this look so stunning. So, they need sales to recoup that, guys. So please support them. Got all these monsters here in the back. These look a lot of fun. And then you get even magic items here at the end. Very cool. So I mean, just tons of stuff. And I think at the price point, you're gonna be guaranteed to get something you can use here. $4.99 I think it was for the price. There's a lot of good stuff that you can use. I can already see in here. So let's look at some of the class features here. So let me find a good one here. Life Ward. Oh wait, is that a subclass? No. Okay. Life Ward. Starting at the first level, you can use the energy of life around you as a protective barrier. At the end of each long rest, you create a magical ward on yourself that lasts until you finish a long rest. The ward has hit points equal to twice your true necromancer level plus your charisma modifier. Whenever you take damage of a type other than radiant, you can choose to have the ward take the damage instead. If this damage reduces the ward to 0 hit points, you take any remaining damage. While the ward has 0 hit points, it can absorb the damage, but its magic remains. Whenever you cast a necromancy spell of first level or higher, the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. Ritual spells do not cause the ward to regain hit points. Once you create the ward, you can't create it again until you finish a long rest. So I like that because it's like creating a second health pool for your necromancer here. So yeah, I mean, it's just that one ability already sounds very imaginative and different. So I can only imagine what's lurking inside these pages, guys. So I think you should consider getting this. Sorry, it was not $4.99, $5. So almost $4.99. Very cool though. Stunning artwork to look at, and 51 pages. You're going to find something for $5 in there that you're going to use or recommend to a friend. So very cool. Check it out. Next, we have the Siege of 𝘽𝙤, an adventure for 3 to 5 players of 2nd to 5th level by Rebecca Ellett Fincher. $2.95 for 10 pages. The end of war looms near, but one city remains occupied. Reinforcements threaten to break through the blockade, extending the conflict and turning the tide. The Tulfarians hope to force the occupational forces out, but need to feed false intel into the city to gain the upper hand. Are your adventurers up to the task? Send your party on this freedom-fighting mission around any Independence Day or any time you want to send them on a risky intrigue adventure. Statistically built for 2nd to 5th level characters, the required intrigue may also be enjoyed by players that are higher level. So cool. It's timed kind of for Independence Day, which is a couple days from this recording, so you can kind of have this happen. Maybe you have a session scheduled for Independence Day, and you can even play this, which would be pretty cool. So let's look inside, and it's we're going to see 2 of the 10 pages. So some nice art on the cover there. It says the human nation of Telfar has been at war with their human neighbor to the west, 𝘏𝙤𝙤𝙠𝙨, for 5 years, fighting to break away from the oppressive rule of their prince. The war is nearing an end, with only the city of 𝘽𝙤𝙤 still occupied by the Berzilius forces. The Telfarians have besieged the city, but keeping out incoming Berzilius reinforcements has been a challenge. Now that the Telfarians have forced the rest of the army out of their land, the Berzilius are able to send larger units at a time. So, kind of a historic conflict going on. It's got some flavor text. Off to the left of the road is a small clearing with 12 bodies in it. All are uniformed soldiers. One of them raises his arm towards you as you approach. Please, if you have any compassion, take me back to Camp 𝘏𝙗𝙗. Alright, so this person needs some help. So yeah, it's a kind of thematic adventure here. It could be used for Independence Day. Looks like a lot of fun. With some nice art in here to support it, and some flavor text. We always like flavor text. So yeah, this is the last DM's Guild title for the week. Before we get into drive-through, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps a lot. Share the video. That also helps. Like the video. Leave a comment. These things help with the YouTube algorithm, help us eventually get monetized, which we will use those funds to create more products to share with you guys on DM's Guild or drive-through. Also, click the links in the video description. They're alphabetically listed, so you'd find Siege of 𝘽𝙤𝙤 under S here in the list, and when you click on those and make a purchase of those books or any books, you're helping the channel and you're helping these creators, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this, is to really promote all these creators, introduce you to them, so you can sit on your couch, watch all this stuff, not have to click through all of it, not have to worry about it disappearing from the first page of the site. You can discover them at any time when you're just looking for something new. So please continue watching and subscribe and all that good stuff, and support these creators. And also, if you can, think about purchasing one of our books, Potions Unlocked or Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. That also helps support me and the channel, and I really appreciate it. First drive-through RPG title this week is In Dolo Delicto, and it is from Starry Night Press, written by Louis Serlou-Ron, and it's for player levels 5 to 7. It's a mid-level fantasy adventure. It's compatible with osric, as well as 5e and most fantasy RPG systems. This is the bountiful Oliva Valley boasts 2 famous hostelries run by the Foix twins. The inns are the pride of Fidelis province, but the wilds are a dangerous place. A pack of shapeshifters has assailed the Luna Inn and taken Rabina Rior hostage. Her sister Camino has hired you to rescue her. Can you unmask her captors? So these shapeshifters could be werewolves, maybe, we'll see. But that could tie in with Blood Moon Rising that we saw earlier. You could bundle these together. And it's $7.50 for 34 pages on sale, so that's a pretty good deal. It says it's the 7th adventure in the old school series in Dolo Delicto. It's written to be generic enough to be compatible with most fantasy role-playing games. It takes place over 3 acts in 3 different locales. There's a roadside ambush, an inn full of enemies, and an ancient cave shrine where the bulk of the marauders have to escape to. The players must face off against various lichens, including 3 new species. Okay, so it goes beyond the traditional werewolf. They're orcish allies, a greater doppelganger, which is a new monster created for the adventure. So, very cool. We're traveling through the Imperium's Oliva Valley, known far and wide for its namesake olives. You chose to stop for the night at a cheery-looking hostelry called the Solace Inn. The innkeep seems to hover and has been eyeing you all night. Finally, the woman comes over and begs you to hear a proposition she has to offer, for she says she is in dire straits and needs the help of heroes such as you appear to be, from your kit and your manner. So, kind of a cool little intro there, and the innkeeper's eyeing you and saying, are they the right fit to help save the day here? And you can see these beautiful maps. I like this one a lot, especially that isometric kind of look to it. But it looks like Dyson Logos here has done some cartography for this, and then you also get a copy of the catalog, which has information on some other supplements, which is very nice. You can maybe, if you like this one, you can find some other things from Starry Night. I know they have some good stuff that we've talked about before, so definitely take a look at this and see what you think. Let's go look inside a little bit here with the I think, yeah, they just have the quick preview on this, but still, you get a good idea. I mean, look at all these lovely maps, and you can see kind of how it's laid out, and you even got your hex crawl stuff here, and your flavor text, some tables, and good balance of art to words, which is we always appreciate, and it's got kind of a little bit of old school feel too with the numbers. So again, it works with osric, which is nice. So yeah, if you want something flexible for osric or 5th edition, this would be a good option this week. Check it out. And the next we have the Wilderness, 120 map tiles plus a 50-page 5th edition adventure from Loke Battle Mats for $12.99. It says the wilderness extends to the horizon, filling your senses with anticipation and excitement. This unforgiving land is home to terrors and treasures in equal measure for those bold enough to explore its ranges. From the sprawling grassy hills right up to the snowy peaks, this land covers vast distances and many challenging environments with a climate of adventure. Will the party be equal to this wild world? I don't know. You'll have to find out. So with 120 urban fantasy battle map tiles, 80 at 12.12 and 41 at 6.6, you can do a lot of different things. I'm assuming, looking here, you've got, a log over a ravine or water here. You've got this sort of circle of tree stumps, which could be, for a ritual or something. Even some Arctic stuff. You can combine them, so they're showing here with the animation how you can combine the tiles into various maps. And then, if that wasn't enough, they're throwing in a whole 50-page adventure. So, and that looks like it's got a decent TOC with NPCs, etc. And look at that nice layout. Very cool. I love the professional look of this. It's going to be a lot of files for your VTT here. So yeah, just in the sampling here, you got jungle, desert, Arctic. This product contains something for every environment and every terrain. So how can you go wrong with that? Very, very cool. If I was the DM, I would definitely consider this, because it's flexible, and you can see, just watch this animation, how they're building these together. Again, it reminds me of that Cities of Mystery that I was so hooked on back in the day, because it had similar maps that could be moved around. It was physical, but still, same idea. You can, plug and play, mix and match, like jigsaw style, to get what you're after here. Check it out. Next, we have Duelist, a system-neutral combat add-on by Jacob Wiz. From Double Proficiency for $9.99. It's a combat add-on for tabletop role-playing games intended to add depth and variety to a wide range of most popular TTRPG games without replacing their mechanics. Instead, Duelist aims to work with already existing game systems to further bring the fun out of combat. So, looks like they even though it's PDF for $9.99, they have a photo of a printed one, or maybe they used Photoshop to make it look printed, but it looks so nice. I love the art and the typography. They played with typography here. says using Duelist in your games is going to help your fighter characters of all classes and variations express themselves through a combat style and be more effective against foes at the same time. Duelist isn't a direct power upgrade for your fighters, however, as the increased effectiveness comes at a cost of potential drawbacks. So we saw earlier a book on language for, what things, how to describe what's happening with fighting, and now this is going to also help your players get into the fighting style, so you could get both these products and really uplift the fighting. And we also saw the dual wield product that was free basically, so you could bring all three of those together to really enhance fighting in your campaigns. Maybe offer something different. Players have choices, right? They can join any number of tables out there. So, as a DM, if you're bringing stuff that maybe isn't being brought by others in your area, you could have a bunch of players wanting to play with you because, maybe you're offering them more enriched play with something like this supplement. And it's just gorgeous to look at. Look at this art. It's just really stunning. It's a simple system of semi-random selection and multiple convergent stances and attack types. The players can choose theirs at will, while the non-player characters' opponents choose theirs either through the DM or a simple semi-random selection method called the decision roll. So there's tips for mixing Duelist with any RPG combat system, rules for engaging in duels, a decision roll, new initiative rules, 3 stances, 3 types of attacks varying the speed and damage, 6 combat moves introducing offensive and defensive maneuvers. I should say offensive. I always pronounce that wrong when it's offensive, and defensive maneuvers, 6 bonus moves from taunts to refreshments and dirty tricks. And it's the first in a series of system neutral add-ons by double proficiency. So very cool. I like double proficiency, and I feel like they too are trying to do things that have an impact. So I always appreciate that, because that's one of the things I'm trying to do with my publishing. So take a look. It's like I said, the art looks really cool. Let's see what it looks like inside here. So you can need to see all 14 pages. So again, no reason not to consider it. You could literally read the whole book and then make your decision. But yeah, I love the art and the layout. It's definitely, and it's not text intensive where your eyes are going to just bleed from trying to read the page, right? They've really mixed in some typography here to give you options. So go take a look on DriveThruRPG. Next we have Hardy, the Burnt Church, a short medieval adventure for your fantasy RPG. So it's going to be under Burnt Church in the links below. Dingerbat Productions, $3.56 suggested price, but it's pay what you want for 27 pages. It says it's a beautifully designed Medfan adventure with 4 color maps and 8 NPC portraits, and it's got a Tailspire board link included, and there's also a French version that you can purchase. In a remote corner of the countryside sits a long-abandoned, burnt-out old church. Tonight, this decrepit building will become the focus of a lot of attention caused by its tragic past and the mystery locked in the crypt below. Having come into the possession of a key desperately wanted for over a century by the local cultists to renew their pact of protection with the moon goddess, the adventurers will have to choose whether to listen to their heart, their reason, or their greed in this story, for the crypt beneath the church contains many ancient relics, but 3 keys are needed to access them. Awesome. I love keys. I created a whole lineage around key keepers, so you could use that with this. Maybe have the key mixed in, or the locks mixed in with that. I love it. I love it. And a burnt old church that has ancient stuff. It's got a lot of atmosphere. You could tie into Ravenloft stuff pretty easily. Says it inaugurates the Detour line, short but intense adventures centered on a specific location, playable as one shot or easily integrated into a campaign. So, like I said, it's integrated into to Ravenloft. Maybe it is OSR, so I should point that out. But you can convert OSR to 5th edition pretty well with a lot of the material out there, and even thematically just use some of the stuff from this. But it's fun to see such rich stuff for OSR as well. I'm just really happy that OSR is taking off and popular. And I'm so happy we can feature some OSR stuff every week as well as 5th edition. And they've got their own little video they've done on it with some nice graphics here on the front, so you can watch that. Let's see if we can see inside here. Yep, we can. We can see 28. So all pages, again, no reason not to read through and consider a purchase, especially with pay what you want. So you've got the history here, how to start the adventure, and there's a key. Love it. Love the keys. All the people here involved, and then villagers, tavern, burnt church, all that good stuff. Zombies. Okay, so there's some crypts. Yeah, and these maps are nice. I like how they're marking the maps too, so you can see where stuff is. Yep, lots and lots of maps, lots of people. Very cool. Very good job laying this all out here. Let's go back up and read something. So, the adventurers are drawn by cries and come upon a young man in the forest who has been mortally wounded by wolves. Once they have repelled the animals, the messenger hands them a large key engraved with the symbol of the one god and asks them in his last breath to take it no later than tonight to the old burnt-out church overlooking Dlinby, a nearby town. Tonight the key gives access to real treasure in the crypt, are the final words he manages to utter. The remains of the young man. If they search him, they discover that he's wearing a wooden pendant around his neck engraved with the symbol of Selene. So very atmospheric, very dark, very key focused, in there. I love that. It's really cool. So excited to see this not only the series, but this effort from this group, Gingerbread Productions. Next we have Sandbox Adventures, Secret of the Sun Spear, from Headless Hydra Press for 5th edition. It's Sandbox Adventure number 9. Sunspear is a legendary merchant ship that vanished years ago. Sailors and pirates whisper about what happened to her crew, and the treasure the Sunspear's hold might still contain. One captain, a bold, daring cutthroat named Barak, is daring enough to lead the crew to capture the ship and return it to port. Can the party track down the Sunspear, liberate it from the vile were-crabs that haunt it, and return to port? So we've got were-crabs, so we've had other lichens this week. So another theme, modules and lichens. So that's awesome. 18-page adventure, full color artwork, an original monster, VTT token, NPC with VTT token, 2 new ships, Explorer map tiles, plug and play design, so you can drop it in anywhere, random encounter, and loot tables. So yeah, you've got all this. And then here's your ship maps. Those could be used outside of this even. And then your hex crawl stuff. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't enjoy some sort of drop-in adventure that kind of adds something, takes it outside the norm? It says the ship's galley is filled with rotting food. The air is heavy with the putrid scent and buzzing flies. Beyond the galley, a hallway leads to officer quarters. So some very thematic reading, and so that's they mark that G here, and then you come to this G. So I like how they've done the map kind of flavor text. It's very bold, easy to read, and it's separated out. It's not like crowded in small text. You've got this nice big, easy to read text. And then they're integrating with VTT with their tokens and their high resolution battle maps and even Hexplorer. So this ties in with Hexplorer. So very integrated with tools out there. Seems like this adventure has a lot to offer. Check it out. Next we have another option for BECMI Basic OSR. Old School Essentials here. The Princess. It's a royal class. And it's pay what you want at $1 for 10 pages. It's a powerful royal class with unique musical abilities and more. Use any item as an improvised weapon to knock foes out cold. A fairy godmother who bestows powerful blessings upon you. And 8 powerful songs. Very cool. So it ties in with the princess theme, I guess, to have the fairy godmother. So you're getting that old school feel in here. As you roll through the class, you got your class table and all the different abilities. And then songs. So let's look. Level 2 songs. Whistle while you work. Frequency once per adventure. You sing a song to inspire yourself and your companions to accomplish greater things. You and up to 7 companions gain an advantage on the next task you undertake as a group. You can increase your chances of success, increasing the odds of the die roll by roughly 50%, or reducing the time it takes to complete the task by roughly 50%. So that's cool. You can sing a song, which is very, Disney princess kind of feel. Again, old school. Here's out cold when attacking an unaware person. In other words, a humanoid of up to 4+1 HD from behind with an improvised weapon. If the attack succeeds, the victim must save versus paralysis with a penalty of the princess's level. If the save fails, the victim falls unconscious. So knock them out cold. Again, very thematic. They've thought about these classic sort of tropes of the princess from Disney and fairy tales and stuff, and kind of rolled it all into a class with some very inspirational art, and it's good for OSR and BECME and basic and all that good stuff. So love that. Check it out. Next we have Getry's Grimoire by Tabletop Totality, a suggested price of $3, pay what you want, for 27 pages, suitable for 4 to 5 players in a level range of 6 to 7th. So a rare and powerful magical artifact has been arranged for sale in the town or city. The item and the gnome Getry, the wizard who is to sell it, are both overdue as a sudden magical explosion rocks the setting. Spreading out from the epicenter of the blast is arcane and caustic slime that sticks to and eats away at everything it touches. So you can see from this cover, like, this town is just getting racked by some sort of ooze, right? So that could be a lot of fun. Says the officials of the setting are and the buyers of the magic item are willing to pay the party for their help in stopping this deadly sludge, and also to recover that magic item. The party must contend with a severely damaged structure filled with oozes and slimes to uncover the wizard Getry. So cool. And then there's a demi-plane involved, and they have to travel to that demi-plane and traverse the slime-flooded landscape to get to the hideout. And then there are several magic item rewards for you as well. So let's look inside. So here's your chapter 1. It's kicking off everything with the background. And then each room. And then a map that's marked for you. And then the mess. So let's read one of these. Room 2. This chamber was once the main parlor for the inn, with a bright fireplace and the tables to eat from. This chamber is utterly destroyed. Should the party wish to explore the room, they will have to contend with difficult terrain and must make a DC 16 Constitution save after spending more than 2 rounds in this room and resist the toxic fumes culminating inside the chamber. Anything of value within this chamber has been destroyed. So this is 5th edition. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, especially if you've got ooze or slime stuff you want to do. I mean, there was one week where the theme of the week was kind of oozes and slime, so if you find that week, you could bundle that with this product, have just sort of a whole campaign around oozes, which I always think are really fun creatures to deal with. So take a look at this one. Next we have Lair of the Manticore, a 5th edition compatible micro dungeon adventure from Frank T. and Friends, Middle Kingdom's Adventure and Trading Company, and author is Frank Turfler. Since the sea has disappeared, there have been endless rumors of ancient ruins, treasure, and beasts, only mentioned in myth and legend. Most recently, there has been a rumor going around Avalon that a wounded manticore has made its home deep in the northeast marshes of the Barrowlands. And I think it's Avillion. I pronounced it wrong. These rumors have reached the ears of a wealthy but eccentric noble who has placed a large bounty on the live capture of the beast. So very good setup there. It's a micro dungeon adventure, so they're frameworks that have been written to be short stories, side quests, or missions, similar to like episodic TV shows. You can either use it as a standalone or link it to make a story arc. There's story seeds, NPCs to help spur the imagination. You can run this in one setting, and then one sitting, and then have a distinct beginning and ending, or link them together and have a whole campaign. So very cool if you need like a one-shot situation. So looking inside here, you get to see 6 of the 29 pages. Got that classic style map, which is always fun, and some quotes, forward, introduction. So yeah, very cool. And look, it's got the adventure start, and then this is kind of all the parts of the adventure, and then you get to the main crypt and the unfinished. So, 29 pages. You hear one shot, you hear a quick, short thing, and then, then the book is only 3 pages, so which is fine. I mean, creative DMs don't need a lot of supporting material, but sometimes you want a selection of things to use, and so this at least has 29 pages of possibilities. I mean, some of it's the intro material, of course, but even though it's a micro dungeon, it doesn't mean it's small. So I would check it out. $7.99. Support these creators. I mean, got some good art going on the front here. Yeah, very cool. Manticores are fun too. Next we have Sci-Fi Player Races, written by Sean Burke from Fruit Loops. And we've talked about some of Fruit Loops' other stuff before, because I think this book might be a bundling of some of the past races, because they've released individual books on the races. And for $5 you can get a bunch of the races all together at 41 pages. So it's playable races for 5th edition worlds, and there's 14 different races. They're kind of science fiction aliens, but they can easily be used for any genre, because really, I mean, a lot of races in fantasy setting look alien anyway, right? Or seem alien to us, since we don't have those on Earth. And then there's feats for each race, and weapons, items, and suggestions for adapting them to other genres. So you've got the 𝙒𝙚𝙀𝙗𝙀, which is a fiercely independent insectoid avian, and you've got the which is eyeless creatures who see with their other senses and lead monastic lives, and then you've got the 𝘬𝙤𝙬𝙪, an innate empathic species that excels in diplomacy and deception. And then there's other individual copies of these if you want. You could just buy one of these races by searching. You could just basically double click, Control-C to copy it, click the search bar, and you'll probably find the one on 𝙒𝙀𝙀 if you only want one of these. But I'm guessing at $5, the price for 14 is going to be cheaper. But I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at Fruit Loops' individual products. They are in some past videos though. But here you can see with the preview, 2 pages to 41. I mean, look at how gorgeous this art is for the 𝘎𝑒𝑠𝑖𝑡H. Now, it's got a sci-fi looking outfit, but you could make the 𝘎𝑒𝑠𝑖𝑡H something, that doesn't wear clothes like this. So let's read a little bit here. The 𝘎𝑒𝑠𝑖𝑡H are sentient predatory species known throughout the galaxy as gifted, cunning assassins and hunters. They appear as purple-skinned humans with an elongated head and 3 pairs of extra eyes on each side. Their mouth is usually hidden by a veil. According to 𝘎𝑒𝑠𝑖𝑡H tradition, they only remove their veil and reveal their faces to their prey before they kill. That's some cool lore there. 𝘎𝑒𝑠𝑖𝑡H wearing a hood and veil can appear human at first glance. And then they've got all kinds of sexual dimorphism, natural predators, and the traits. And then here it talks about how to incorporate it into fantasy or modern sci-fi. So I love that. Well thought out stuff. So yeah, I mean, it seems like these are very unique. Maybe you're looking for something that's just not run-of-the-mill when it comes to races. If you're looking for something not run-of-the-mill for races, this is a good option for you. That's what I would say. And I love that they're thinking outside the sci-fi box with these, because I mean, just looking at these pictures, I mean, you're going to get stunning art, and I mean, I could definitely see this guy running through some sort of dungeon, right? Definitely options. And then if you ever do decide to do a sci-fi campaign, maybe you've already got one going on, this is an option for you. And if you're doing sci-fi in 5th edition, you definitely need options, because there aren't a lot of official ones. Next we have Ray Guns and Ruins by Derek Holland and the Skirmisher Game Development Group, and it's $2.99 for 26 pages. It's for BECMI, Basic, OSR, 3rd edition, D20, so lots of options this works with. It says it's a dual-themed sourcebook devoted to both descriptions and statistics for ray guns of all sorts, military and civilian, and material that can be used to make wastelands and ruins themselves, and not just their inhabitants, significant and interesting. That's cool. So if you have a post-apocalyptic setting, or, you know, even like a Dark Sun situation, this could be cool. So, although, you know, I'm not sure if they have guns in Dark Sun. I haven't looked at Dark Sun in a while, but still, you could add them. I mean, you're in control. This game is so flexible, guys. You can, anything you want is possible. It says it's statted for basic OGL-D20 systems, but can be used as is with OSR games like Labyrinth Lord, or Mutant Future, or Gamma World, which is a retro clone of Gamma World, and really compatible with anything, it sounds like. So let's see. Let's look inside. Look at that cool 50s style retro art. I love that. Let's see. That's okay. We read that already. And then here's your ray gun table with all this information on the different ray guns. And I like that it's called ray gun because, again, that's a throwback to, you know, even the serials that they used to do in the movie theaters, you know, these sort of silent serials, or every week serial with these sci-fi adventures, Flash Gordon and the like. All right, so the ancients created many weapons and tools and incorporated a beam or ray effect, and this book contains just a tiny sample of what's possible. So we'll look at one of these. The Bone Cleaner. Although it was created as a weapon, this pistol tends to be more often used as a cleaning device in the current era. When fired, it will vaporize all organic material except for mineralized tissues such as bones and teeth, within a 2-foot wide, 50-foot long line, requiring the affected living creatures must save versus energy attacks or die. Okay, very cool. And then they've got chill guns, comet rifles, bug guns, bloaters. You know, so fun names. If you're looking to create, maybe you want to create a campaign where you could even theme it like those little serials, like Flash Gordon, and, you know, have like, you know, chapter 1, da 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 da, you know, make music of it, and just kind of like introduce each session like you know, it's the latest serial adventure. And then you know, if you're going to do that, you need a cliffhanger though at the end so that people come back next week and see what happens next in your little serialized adventure. But I mean, I really like what Skirmisher is doing here, you know, bringing some ray gun love to the party, and it's just really cool what's the inspiration out there for these you know, D20 OSR compatible games, and again, throwing back to these Flash Gordon-esque stuff, or even Gamma World style things, post-apocalyptic. It's all in here. 26 pages of ray guns and ruins, and you know, it's going to bring some life to your post-apocalyptic setting, even just with the fun names. So check this out for $2.99 on DriveThruRPG. Next, we have the Dwarven Pickup Truck. I mean, all we need is a country song to go with this. I mean, look at this. This art is just fun. It says an adventure for both old and new school fantasy games, and you know, it's a limited drivetrain warranty. So, you know, keep that in mind. But it's compatible with classic D&D, AD&D, Labyrinth Lord, basic fantasy. So you can play it with the basic, and it just gives that feel. It's got pre-generated characters. It's from Sharp Mountain Games, $3.50 for 32 pages. It says a new vehicle has been stolen. With it, an enemy could move soldiers to attack the peaceful city of New Dawn. Can you find the Dwarven Pickup Truck before it's too late? I don't know. I hope so, because that thing looks like a fun ride. This fully illustrated adventure can be used with your favorite old school fantasy rule set or retro game right out of the box. It can also be used with later editions with very little tweaking. Statistics are provided for both ascending and descending armor class. Nice. Okay, because people have a preference. It's like toilet paper. You know, does it get roll over or under? People have preferences. So, you know, it's nice that you have armor class for both here. Here's what you get. You get a ready to play adventure, digital maps for your VTT, printable maps, pre-generated characters, 3 bonus characters from other supplements, new monsters, suggestions for extending the adventure, and an area map that can be used. So, Sharp Mountain, sounds like you're onto some stuff here. Let's see. John Fredericks wrote this. And, yeah, look at this cool little stylish map. And an intro. The hook. Oh, look at Brian Goldforge. Alright, and there's a whole rumor table here, and then you've got all kinds of characters. So let's read one of the rumors. The Naiad's Pond can be found by taking the southeast path about a mile from the bridge. So that rumor is true. I love when the rumor table tells you whether stuff is true or false. Unless it's something that's not really true or false. It's more of a feeling. So let's see. Player characters can become involved in a number of ways. Perhaps they were traveling to New Dawn in search of work, or they have relatives in town. They may have been contacted by the local constable and asked to help patrol the town and surrounding region. If you're starting a new campaign, it can be a great home base. There are many nasty creatures taking up residence in the mountains and forests. Also, there are numerous ruins from before the war. In that time, a great undead evil lord ruled the land, and the remains of many evil temples and towns are there. So you're getting to see 6 of the 32 pages, and I mean, look at this sweet ride with the sort of upturned wheels here, like floating discs. So you can tailgate with this adventure. Check it out. Tomb Robbers of the Crystal Frontier. I love this sort of album cover art by Gus Ale as the author of this. It looks like, I'm not sure who the artist is for this, but I just love this. It looks so cool. It's OSR, old school compatible, basic, BECMI, all that good stuff. Throwback, $7.50 for 61 pages. Already got a 5-star, and it's copper seller, so something's going right here. Welcome to the Crystal Frontier, a desolate magic-stained wasteland where fabulous crystal spires and fortresses plummet from the skies to tempt the gold desperate and the bold with magical gems and golden treasures. Find your fortune or find your death as you plunder the fallen sky tomb of an Empyrean despot. Scheme with the unnatural denizens of the crystal tomb, unravel the secrets of the dead king and his realm of misrule, loot strange magics and opulent treasures from beyond the sky's vault. A complete 60-page adventure for level 1 characters and introduction to the Crystal Frontier setting. While built to support campaign play, the adventure is ready for use as a drop-in adventure locale in almost any fantasy world and as a one-shot. Designed for OSE, Tomb Robbers of the Crystal Frontier emphasizes problem-solving, faction intrigue, and exploration in the tradition of classic dungeon crawl adventures, but with phantasmagoric fantasy western aesthetic. So with that fantasy western aesthetic, you might be able to even work in some of the ray guns that we saw earlier for that post-apocalyptic wasteland feel that this has going on as well. But let's look inside. So continuing that gorgeous art, it looks like Gus L. might also be the artist according to the details here. So good job, Gus. You're killing it with the look here. Yeah, scroll through. You can see some really fun layout. Oh man, isometric maps. Love isometric maps. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, this. I mean, just the feel of this book looks so fun. Definitely want to get this. Look through all the pages. But you can see 30 of the 61 pages, so you can see about half of the book here, which is nice. I mean, looks like there's some puzzles going on, and just the art to text ratio is so nice, and I mean, to me, Gus L. is the writer and artist. So talk about a singular vision. When you're able to both write and do the art, you're not getting anything lost in translation from the writing to the artist, right? You know, that can be a powerful collaboration, don't get me wrong, I do that in my works, but when you have that singular vision that goes from the writing to the art, I think it makes something really special, because it's definitely going out of their head and onto the page. There's no telephone game between that, right? So you can tell this is a labor of love, and that this art is, you know, coming from the mind of this Gus L. here, and I love it. I really think there's a lot on display in here. So let's read some of the text here. Facts as they are spoken. Crystal tombs fall from the sky, streaking across the night every few months. Only a few have voids, the hollows, where oculiths and other treasures are found. Okay, I mean, how atmospheric is that? Right, let's scroll through and read something from somewhere else here. Random encounters. Lith mummy. The ancient dead are restless. Tomb crystal suffuses the flesh of this corpse, erupting from its rotten silks and verdigris, scabbed armor. A predator and protector of the tomb, the Lith mummy still retains its ability to speak and a few fragments of its former mind. They have a noble's self-regard, a courtier's insolence to menials, and a bounder's avarice. So very creative writing here, a lot of flavor. Let's read something from the Omens and Signs. In dead silence, a strange whispering, as of a distracted reader flipping through your mind's pages. The king's mark, stacked diamonds, burns behind your tired eyes. So very flavorful. I mean, you could even repurpose this stuff, in your own creation. Just have some of these omens. So I think you're going to get your money's worth, even just looking at these the art here. So I would say this product has a singular vision and it's well executed for sure. So check out Tomb Robbers of the Crystal Frontier. It's in the links at the bottom. Just look for T for Tomb Robbers and give it a link. Click and check it out. All right, next we have The Gates of the Shadow Mage from Eldritch Press, a 5th level adventure for the 5th edition. This one is available as a book or a bundle of both printed and a PDF, and the bundle's on sale. The PDF's $8.99, the book is $20.99, and then you get the bundle for $22. It's 48 pages. It says it's compatible with Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm not sure why it doesn't say 5th edition. So you might want to update that so people searching for 5th edition Eldritch Press can find you. I think you can check multiple, so maybe add 5th edition there. It had some Kickstarter backers, and it said, within a long forgotten stronghold buried deep beneath the earth, vast wealth and secret knowledge lies hidden, awaiting brave adventurers to lay claim to them. Powerful forces are at work in the fortress, presenting both opportunity and danger to intrepid tomb raiders. It's an adventure that takes place in an ancient warlock stronghold called Shadowhaunt, abandoned since its owner was defeated a century ago. It offers players many opportunities and rewards, but may also put them in precarious moral dilemmas, as they are dropped in the middle of a long simmering war between two evil forces. So I love that, when it's not just a clear-cut good versus evil, this is what should die, this is what should live, this is, all that. It's like, okay, do we really do this? This is a moral dilemma here. But whatever path they take, at the end of the adventure, they could find themselves with the use of a complex that contains doorways into other planes of existence, allowing for endless adventures in the future. So this could become a base, basically, with doorways to other planes of existence. So if you're looking for a jump-off point to other planes, maybe you want to do, something with any of the planes out there, the Shadowfell or whatever. This could be your gateway, literally, to that. 20 original images and detailed maps, 9 new spells, 7 new monsters, 5 magic items, and 25 tokens. I mean, so that's a lot for the money. And you can also get it as a print version if you want. So it looks like also your video is not working, guys, so maybe check on that. Again, a lot of times the things we find that are broken in these pages is fixed by the time you guys watch this. So please check it again when you go see it. They may have corrected some of those things. Let's look inside. So they have a nice vision statement. I love that when the publisher is upfront about what they're trying to do. And I mean, even just from the table of contents, you can see there's a lot packed in here. And they've got a nice original layout going on. They got adventure hooks. Ooh, look at these shards of things here that you could want as maybe a character. Natural rock formations, and here's a map. So you get to see 8 of the 48 pages. So let's read some of this here.
shadow doors. Throughout Shadowhaunt are a number of magical doors that lead to Shantrek's inner sanctum. Knock and dispel magic spells have no effect on these shadow doors, but they can be circumvented by casting Wish to open them or by simply tunneling through the wall to bypass them. When a shadow door is viewed with Detect Magic, it radiates conjuration magic, and a glowing rune becomes visible on its surface. Shadow doors can only be opened with an attuned rune known as a token key. So that's what these are. Very cool. And then it talks more about the token keys. So I won't read all of it today, but hopefully you guys can do that. And it says, planar gates are large stone arches that surround a translucent curtain of energy. The stonework on each gate is carved with the arcane symbols associated with its connected plane. Opening a gate requires a special gate key, which takes the form of a metal tuning fork constructed from a specific material and tuned to a specific pitch. Awesome idea. So you can get very visual. You can even come up with a symbol for your planar gate, and then you have to also maybe play with tuning forks and sounds. And it says the destination, so Elemental Chaos, Feywild, Burning Hells, Abyss, and Shadowfell. So I guessed right. Shadowfell is a plane you can go to. So I think this is a great locale to consider. If you want to extend your campaign into all directions involving planes. I mean, you've got sort of almost like a Doctor Who TARDIS available to you to take you to the different places. So, and you can get it as a print-on-demand book. So take a look at Gates of the Shadow Mage. Next, we have the Stalwart Age superhero role-playing game. It's from Splintered Realms Publishing. It's normally $14.95, but it's on sale for $5 basically at $4.95. So maybe check it out. 32 pages. It's for OSR. It says it's 1984, fourth period. You should be studying for a math quiz. It's just a quiz, but you'd rather talk about issue 250 of the Mighty Doc Stalwart that came out yesterday. And it's all your friends want to talk about. Of course, Dave is fixating on Doc holding up that bridge. Something about the Stalwart Age handbook is putting his upper limit at 70 tons, and Dave's dad said the bridge section was at least 200 tons, and he's an engineer. Whatever, but it's awesome. So just kind of this story about loving comic books, as I talked about earlier. And this could maybe work with that marvelous book we looked at earlier. Although this is OSR and that was 5e, but you could maybe convert and combine them. So it's an epic superhero RPG basically, and it's got multiple previews. We're only going to look at the full size, but you might also check out the alternate preview from the publisher. 16 of the 32 pages. So it's got about the adventure, and then key concepts and how to play, and then all the attributes that you have to deal with. But it's OSR compatible, so if you're used to OSR, this should be easy. So you can, and these are all the different powers that you can have as a superhero in this setting. Got Messenger, Gloaming, the Shadow Sand something, Bandit, Shadow Bandit. Yep. Psychism here, all kinds of stuff. Talents. So we'll scroll back up here and read one of these. So companion. You have a fiercely loyal companion that follows you on your adventures, such as a pet. This is different from a sidekick. Your companion is half your level rounded up. If your companion dies, it is replaced at the beginning of the next game session with a similar companion. Cool. Okay, and then we'll read one more. Emotion control. Use one action to attempt to control the emotions of a living creature in range. The target attempts a feat to resist. If failed, the target experiences the emotion you chose for one turn. If you take the limitation to one emotion type, impose -2 defeats to resist your emotion control. So very cool, like very thematic with comic book characters. I can see how this would work to let you feel like you're in the comic books. And they're calling it the Stalwart Age, which is equivalent to the Bronze Age of superhero comics. So it seeks to emulate the comic book action, expands upon the fictional comic book series The Mighty Doc Stalwart, which has its own blog. So there might even be some comic books to go along with this, or some writing about those comics. So very fun. If you're looking for something superhero, this could be for you. Next we have Sharps of the Knife. a game by Tibius with this kind of cool looking fun artwork on the front. And it too is available as a PDF for $15 or a black and white book for $18.99, or even a combination with the same price. So you might as well, if you're going to buy the book at $18.99, get both the PDF and the book at $18.99. 84 pages is for OSR or 2d6 game systems. This is the setting and rules of character creation all sit together so neatly and intuitively alongside some of the most beautiful art I've seen in a long time, with a strong authorial voice that makes me want to keep reading. So this is a quote by somebody who's read the book. Some other good quotes here, but you can see how to use the game, and then all of the table of contents here. It says the decadent, diminishing royal city of Thilov was colonized a decade ago by the Onderbond Empire. Its inhabitants call their city the Knife and call themselves Sharps. Thilov sits at the edge of desert highlands to the east and open sea to the west, marsh and farmland to the south, and forest to the north. It is a center of culture and trade. They carry on daily life and intrigues as their culture is changed by colonial presence. In the palace, the queen of the city sits tied to her throne by alchemic life support equipment, dispensing wisdom and favors. On Whisper Street, the Queen of Knights arranges entertainments both wholesome and depraved. In Bustle Street, the Onderbrunn captain of industry regulates business and takes in the imperial licensing fees. So very flavorful, interesting setting. I like this. I like what I'm reading. It sounds like it's very well written, and also just really unique. I mean, that life support equipment, alchemic life support, that's a unique notion for a fantasy setting, so I like that. So rules based in the tradition of fighting fantasy, Troika, tunnel goons, to play characters defined by their cultures, occupations, and formative experience. So they're playing with the way to kind of role play a little bit here too, which could be fun. And it looks like there's no inner preview, so but you can see the pages here. I wish I could see more of this gorgeous art. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be in this style, but yeah, maybe if you guys can add another page that has some of the art or the content, that would be awesome. We got 84 pages, so there's probably something good to choose from. But looking at the table of contents, I mean, they've got contraptions, treasures, guardians. I mean, I think there's a lot here. I definitely would enjoy reading through this, because it just sounds creative to me. So check it out. Next we have White Frank, Jonathan Nolan, and Nyher's adventure module called Solitari. And this is a very famous painting, and a lot of times you see like famous people sitting there, or there's nobody there. Maybe Solitary or Solitari is a reference to solitary. It's for OSR as well. Duplicates of the dead and even the living show up in a milk bar downtown. So after the adventures in the steam tunnels to rescue Jack Rogers' goldfish, things turn to what passes for normal in town. However, a trip to the local milk bar and diner presents the characters with a new mystery. So White Frank has a lot of fun, different adventures. We looked at kind of a Western one last week. Although the recent plague panic, lockdowns, anarchist violence, arsonist riots, and other excitements have wrecked the previous downtown culture, the area is still quite busy. However, upon entering the Blue Moon Milk Bar, it is obvious something strange is going on. Most seats are occupied, but with a weird buffer around each patron, as though all of them have a reserved seat for someone else. A few people are already sitting with someone else, and that is when the second odd thing strikes the characters. There are only couples and single patrons, no groups, no families. So I love mysteries like this. There's a lot of great books that kind of start with this odd thing, or even movies that start with this odd thing, and then you kind of have to unravel that. So it's very cool to see that they've got something like that going on. They've also got character classes: the hipster, the police officer, the rat, and the wanderer. They've got new monsters with doppelgangers, fetches, wraiths, energy duplicates, double word people, clones, and the rest you can shake a slime-encrusted tendril at. So it's got a beautiful map, wonderful art. No preview for us to look inside, but it sounds like, again, White Frank is doing something different with a twist mystery and a lot of content in here. So check it out if you're in the market for some OSR, or you want to even just take some inspiration from it for something else. And it's only $2, so why not? Click that link in the video description. I think it's under Solitary. So check that out. And then we have A Conspiracy of Ravens by Matt Robertson. It's a level 0 funnel or a level 1 adventure for compatible with Dungeon Crawl Classics. STP Games put this out at $9.99, 36 pages. Dungeon Crawl Classics or OSR, if you're in the mood for that, here you go. You wake in the middle of the night to the ringing of the church bells. With sleep clouding your vision, you reach over to feel the comfort of your companion, only to feel cold, empty sheets. Shaken with fear, you leap up to check the other rooms of the house, where children, family members, roommates, and pets once rested peacefully, now only vacant. Deserted cots take their place. Where has everyone gone? Who is ringing the bells in the church? Will you be able to survive long enough to figure out what is happening and how to stop it? So, if you're looking for an intro to Dungeon Crawl Classics with a horror twist, or you've already played Dungeon Crawl Classics, this is a little scarier module for you. It's for 3 to 6 players. It can be a 0 level funnel or a level 1. There's a small town for your characters to call home, and a fumble table that you can use for Mutant Crawl Classics or whatever that one's called, and then Dungeon Crawl Classics as well. New creatures, new magic, and a new patron. And also, we had that earlier adventure from Demon's Guild with the church, so you could maybe combine those together for some fun. I know it was 5th edition, but again, conversion is possible. But let's look inside here. Oh, nice art. The Summoning of the Mistle Resones. I'm having a terrible time pronouncing things today, but summoning of that, whatever that is. Awesome. Looks creepy. So let's see, adventure background, got contents, okay, encounter table, that's always helpful, and some nice art, and it's got labeled areas as well as, some flavor text, which we always appreciate. So let's read this. A thin fog creeps out of the trees in the fields surrounding the outer limits of the town. Dark spectral shapes dodge in and out of the corners of your vision. A quick assessment of your surroundings shows that the fog encircles at least this portion of the town, silently daring you to enter from the edges of your property. From down the street, you hear the muffled distress sound of a child crying. So the mood gets you right in there. You can see sort of these ravens up to no good here. Looks like they're not doing what normal ravens do. Well, maybe, I guess, if a body is lying in the street, they would pick at it, but they could be attacking too. We don't know there. So yeah, check it out. Very dark. It could also work with Ravenloft, because you've got the Raven right on the front. It's OSR Dungeon Crawl Classics, but you could convert it, or maybe you're playing Ravenloft in that setting already, in that format. So check it out on Drive-Thru. Next we have Starcrawl, also compatible with DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics, and MCC, the mutant version. OSR. Technology so succeed where Flesh has failed. Beyond the Flesh is a cybernetic supplement written for Starcrawl, DCC, and MCC, but easily adaptable for any D20-based RPG. Full rules for adding cybernetics, guidance and rules for including cybernetics. New class for Starcrawl called the Cyberdoc, a specialist in cybernetic surgery. Special rules for new Flesh, dangerous semi-intelligent organic implants. Bonus material for vehicle pursuit rules to quickly add exciting chases to your games, and a complete 4th level adventure, the Cybernetic Underbelly. 48 black and white pages from the Tuesday Night Fiend Club, $5 for 44 pages. And so it's got info on cybernetics, installing and using those. We got kind of the Bionic Man fan art here. And you get to see 3 of the 44 pages. So there are a lot of moving parts to cybernetics, but here's the short version. And then it lists all those. It says it requires a professional to install or repair, whether it be a cyberdoc, medic, or mechanic. Due to the specialized set of knowledge required, medics and mechanics make all cybernetic installation checks with a penalty. They still add their base medic or repair modifier as appropriate. And then it describes those penalties. And Post-surgical recovery can be difficult, especially with complex implantations. Each installation table includes recovery time and penalties the character suffers for this duration. So everything you need to get bionic, to get cybernetic, to get cyborg. I mean, even if you're doing this one of those superhero games and you want to add like a cyborg character and, you know, introduce some flavor to that, this could work for you. But yeah, I have not seen anything on cybernetics since I've started this series, and much less 44 pages. So definitely a worthy option if you're interested in cybernetics in your game. Next we have Classes of the Lost Spheres Spellweaver by 𝙬𝙘𝙤𝙀 with this gorgeous cover art. It's for Pathfinder, and it's from Lost Spheres Publishing. And it looks like it's also compatible with D&D, you know, because, you know, Pathfinder, depending on the version of Pathfinder, and this is first edition, so that's kind of 3.5 D&D. And it says it's an arcane casting class skilled at harvesting the essences of their own shattered veils. These mystics blend the power of wizardry with new techniques of chakra and essence-fueled potency. Beyond the base class, the supplement also introduces archetypes like the Psi Weaver and Sphere Weaver, granting access to the might of ultimate psionic systems from Dreamscarred Press, and the Spheres of Might and Power systems from Dropjet Studios. So those are very popular, you know, Spheres of Might and Power. So this, you know, tying in with that is kind of cool, and then even psionics from Dreamscarred. So I love the coordination with other publishers. Very cool. Dozens of new spells, adding interactions to empower all of the casting classes of the Pathfinder role-playing game. So they can use veil weaving. 3 new veils to support Spellweaver and other characters with access to both powers. New character options for City of Seven Seraph's PC species. And expanding on the principles of Akashic power introduced in Dreamscarred Press's Akashic Mysteries and expanded in City of Seven Seraphs. So building upon that third-party material. I like when stuff gets built upon, because, you know, the one and done, you know, eventually you kind of have to homebrew, and when you're building on something else, that's awesome. So let's look inside here. Nice background and art here. Got the picture of the class. So it says essence is the most basic form of magic, pure unshaped ether that can be directed as one sees fit, empowering their body and soul with its power. From essence sprang the ability to tap into the Akashic record and pull from it the knowledge of the past in the form of veils. Eventually, the study of the record and the magic stored within allowed mortals to tap into arcane magic as it is known today, recording this knowledge in spellbooks and mastering it through study and perseverance. So very cool. It says, between these two states, there was a period of flux wherein spellcasters utilized the magic power stored with the shaped veils to cast these spells. The practice known as spell weaving eventually grew out of favor, and its knowledge was lost to all but the most dedicated members of the antiquated craft. These anachronistic mages dubbed themselves spell weavers to honor the tradition they continue to uphold and continue to make amazing strides in the ancient part of spell weaving. So you've got some lore there. You know, Akashic Record is fun to play with, you know, thematically. So yeah, and just kind of this lost art. I think you could have a lot of fun with this. Probably adapt it to something other than Pathfinder if you wanted to, but I always love having some Pathfinder in here too, because people enjoy that as well. So check this out on Drive-Thru. And next we have Ars Goetia, Classical Demonology for Old School. It's also OSR, but it says, you know, works with classic AD&D from Postmortem Studios with a creative price of $666. So $666 here at 114 pages. And it says a magic system for old school drawing on classic realm demonology. So gorgeous woodcut style art on the front. And then you see some fun text inside here. Ritual Magician is a class, it looks like. Yep. Ritual magic, unlike existing magic using classes, is devoted to ritual magic, and through that ritual magic, binding spirits and demons to their service or demanding gifts from them. They can have familiars, knowledge, and special abilities boost to existing abilities. So, very old school looking text here. says it uses various Old English symbols for the sake of immersion and replicating the look and feel of old grimoires. So if you enjoy like typography and like old text, so it gives you information on these symbols. Just a suggestion to the author, this maybe add a version that doesn't use that type. So if somebody wants to read it, normally they can do that, because you can always offer an additional PDF version. I love that. I think it's very creative, but it'll just give you, maybe somebody might not want to purchase it because of that, which would be a shame because it looks like you have some fun stuff in here. So maybe offer that, just like people offer the print-friendly version, you can have like a version that just has, regular text as well. But, lots of ritual stuff, lots of demonic stuff. There's demonic buildings, summoning and binding going on. So if you're looking for like to bring, whether it's through Ravenloft or demonic planes, you need some demonology. I know it's OSR, but this could be converted to 5th edition, or maybe you're playing Ravenloft or planes in OSR. So that's the last title for this week. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, tell us what titles you liked, or just anything you want to share with us. We'll respond to all comments. Click the links in the video description to support the channel and these creators. Consider our books, Potions Unlocked, and Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. Both those are a lot of fun. I think you'd enjoy those. Check those out. Those are also linked below. And keep on watching and share this video with others if you can, so we can get exposure to these creators and to the series, so that people are tuned in every week. And until next time, happy adventuring.